Miriam Aitken from our technical department, Mr. Christian Gründer, also from our technical department, and Mr. Girgin, also from our technical department. And we are focusing today, as you can see, with the people present, on technical measures and how to plan and how to proper plan your presentation during these special times and with new special requirements. I would like to switch now to our presentation, and a special warm welcome back to all people who attended yesterday already. We are very happy that we entice you to come back again, and for those who might switch off early, all aspects will be actually recorded. This is why you can see up in the very third of the display red light, but there won't be any pictures recorded from you or names. So we are taking care of a proper data protection. You can actually hear later all the audios online. You can also download the presentation later online, and of course you can check in all FAQs and technical requirements that are present in our shop on the website. If you would like to ask questions you have right now, please use the chat function that is present in this tool EduDip, and of course you can send us an email to ligna-webinars@messe.de. My colleagues are outside this room and answering or trying to answer the question if possible, and if not, we are discussing those questions in here if we have any details that might be interesting for everyone attending. So as I said, everything will be present at Ligna, and please feel free to address all your questions you have also after this webinar to our colleagues. All contact data will be presented at the end of this presentation. What we plan for today is a short recap and update of Ligna 21. Of course, a short introduction about the regulations, the current regulations we are facing as a trade show organizer, and of course you as a exhibitor need to take care of. After that, my colleagues from our technical department will go into detail what this will mean for the stand planning, and after that a short information about the catering issues and networking and stand parties. And after that, I think we will take about 45 minutes for those first 4 points. We will have a session where you can ask the questions. Hopefully you have the questions before that so that we can answer them in the due course of this presentation. So let me start with the exhibition program. As you can see, we are occupying 10 halls around the open air site, starting with the primary industry in hall 25 and 26, then going into solid woodworking in 27 and 13, or if it comes to board, surface treatment in hall 17, and then down 14, 15, of course, 11 and 12, all about board treatment, board working, and all about furniture industry. So this is what you experienced 2019 already. We didn't have any major changes. The only change we made is we had a different, or we choose a different name for the dark green area, formerly known as forestry technology, is now called machinery for forestry, roundwood and sawn timber production. So this is a more complete name for what's going on outside there. Right now, the applications, show the picture that we are again occupying all 10 halls. So if there are any questions about that, the major brands are present in the halls you experienced in 2019. And as you can see, the market leaders, the technology drivers, and also the innovation drivers are there already. All the names you need for the industry are already here. They applied, and they are actually planning their presentation for Ligna in May 2021 with high pressure. So this just as an overview what will move the industry, what will move the content for the next show is, of course, the development of digitalization and automation. We choose the headline Woodworking Transformation for this topic because we experience that in workshops, in the furniture industry, but also with machinery manufacturers. It is a transformation of mindset, of how to plan the production and how to communicate with the customers. So this is a full aspect. Our exhibitors are integrating this into their presentation already. The second focus topic is and was always present at Ligna. It is prefab building processes, a topic that is very prominent already in Europe for many, many years. But countries like the United States, but also many countries in Asia are establishing timber construction more and more. And especially those prefab building processes born in Europe, technology born in Europe, is very popular and is gaining more market share by the minute. So this is a very important focus topic for us because it's on every political agenda around the world. This is true for the third focus topic as well. It's green material processing. So how can you use even more of the raw material, wood, if you take it as a fiber, as a chemical divided fiber, and put this into a new form, into a new format, and how to use it for very different applications. So this is something that is very far in the future, but we will experience not only with content in forums or discussions, but also technology that will be mind-blowing when it comes to possibilities we are looking at. If we take a close look at the trade show world, we see that there weren't any major trade shows since Ligna 2019 in woodworking. So we saw some smaller live hybrid events, but mainly broadcasted on the internet. So Ligna will be the first within the last 2 years being present on the market with a live event, but we also add to Ligna 21 a hybrid event. So we will have an online format that will be discussed in the next webinar, most probably in October. The situation in Germany is stable. We are handling all this pandemic situation in a very strong way. We have very good, very reliable security and health concepts here, especially in the region of Hanover. We had hygiene concepts and security concepts for trade shows like EuroTIR and EuroBlack to be held in autumn this year. Those trade shows were postponed by the organizer because it's a guest show. Those are guest shows to March 2021, and they will be held before Ligna. And this is also true for Hannover Messe that will be held in April. So we are gaining more and more experience as a trade show organizer to handle trade shows in this special situations. And the next show we have here on our grounds is the Infa show taking place in October. So we are going back to a special new normal, but we are experiencing very good contact with our official institutions, and we are handling trade shows on our fairgrounds for many, many times until we go into a live event like Ligna. The Domotex date changed for all those who are also involved in this world when it comes to flooring. The new date is 20th of May until 22nd of May. This is very close to Ligna, but we will have occupied only the eastern halls of Domotex, so there's no change for the Ligna grounds, and both areas will be divided by firm barriers, so there won't be any crossover or handling problems during setup or breakdown. What did we do so far to cope with the situation being present since March this year? We extended the early booking period until 31st of July. We also informed all the exhibitors, potential customers, about not invoicing a cancellation fee until 31st of December this year. So parts of our terms and conditions named in 10.1 and 10.2 won't get into effect if you cancel until end of December. The same is true for number 8 of our terms and conditions. So if we as an organizer are will cancel the show or postpone or shorten the dates, we are not, or we won't keep 25% of your down payment when we cancel the show for whatever reason. So this is also a minimization of risk for you as a customer to confirm your participation for LIGNA in May. We also postponed our planned first LIGNA conference in Rosenheim until 2022 to then have a show with more security, with a proper setup, and not only be in the situation to handle all this nice information online. If you would like to get a close look into all the details with your stand builder, please go online and check our website with the FAQs, but also please check the shop where you can see all the additions to the technical requirements in German and English to see what you need to fulfill to have a presentation that gives you all the opportunities on the one hand, but on the other hand, be on a safe side when it comes to all hygiene measures. For February 17th next year in Hanover, we are planning the press preview event that is with no doubt being possible in the constellation we had it in the past years. So what kind of requirements are addressed to us as an organizer that we need to give you as an information and as a guideline to plan your presentation properly? Everything we are transferring to you in our technical requirements has been given to us by the state of Lower Saxony, so that they can give us the possibility to hold a trade show under these special circumstances. Our grounds have excellent possibilities to actually applicate all these requirements we got from the state of Lower Saxony. We have a lot of space. We're using this space. My colleagues will go into details when it comes to getting more space in the halls, because we will widen up the aisles. We will have a lot more cleaning intervals during the day in all public areas, like toilets, like entrances, like exits. And we will, of course, ensure that our halls will have enough fresh air to minimize the risk of possible infection. What is also important to secure our visitors and of course the exhibitors is that we will track and record all people who are present here at the ground, who will visit us, and we will take care with you for all the data recording. So all tickets are sold online. Everyone has to register with a certain set of information to be able to track the people and inform the people in case of any necessities. For you as an exhibitor, it is the obligation to record not only the stand personnel during setup and breakdown, but also the visitors if they stay longer than 15 minutes on your stand. We are currently working on a digital possibility to do this recording of people on your stand based on our QR code being produced at the entrance of our gates. So what we are planning is that you can use it on your mobile devices like iPad, iPhone, or any Android application to scan our QR code, and so check in the visitor on your stand and then check it out again. And if someone stays less than 15 minutes, it won't be recorded, or the person stays longer than 15 minutes, and then you have fulfilled the recording necessities. But details on that will be included in one of our next webinars. We as an organizer need to take care of enough space for the people who are visiting. So we need per person 4 square meters. That is easily to take care of during LIGNA because the visitors we are expecting have enough space with the space we occupy. So what is very important, and this is what my colleagues will tell you as well, don't just go into those 4 square meters per person and then calculate the space you need for your presentation. It is more important that you take care of 1.5 meter distance and also use the possibility of people wearing nose and face masks. This is important. If you cannot handle a distance of 1.5 meter, just put face mask out and to the groups, and you're on the safe side. Entrances and exits, of course, will be divided so that we can protect people of grouping or getting too crowded. This is the same for all areas that can be crowded. This is also true for your stand. Of course, everyone will be informed about the behavioral guidelines due to COVID-19, and of course, where necessary, we will applicate spit screens, as we call them, so protective measures and screens for every people involved. So far for my first part, I would like to switch now to my colleague, Ms. Aitken from our technical department. She will continue when it comes to, especially for details around your presentation. Thank you very much so far.
Good morning, my name is Aitken, Team Lead Event and Stand Construction Safety. So starting off from the general part, we would like to show you first our COVID-19 rental floor plans with the mandatory aisles, and then go on to the catalogue of measures for protection against infection. We've got 3 parts of it, and then show you some exemplary exhibition stands. My colleagues, Mr. Gründer and Mr. Girgin, will participate as well. So starting off with the rental floor plans with the mandatory aisles. In accordance with the current version of the Lower Saxony Corona Protection Ordinance, we made some amendments to the plans, which are the grids to, or the basis for the planning of the halls. For us as Deutsche Messe, as an organizer, it is crucial to comply with the requirements of distance rules. So there are various interests that have to be taken into account. These are the area planning, so the especially hygiene regulation situation for the restaurants, then some things which are more intern, like the location of the EBs, then the hall areas which are more heavily frequented, the queue management in front of sanitary areas, and of course, it needs to be fitting well into the hall. So the next slide, please. Thank you. So what is new with the COVID-19 rental floor plans now? The aisles, first, the most important things have been widened from 4 meters to 6 meters. So all aisles that were 4 meters before are now 6 meters, and 3 meter aisles are too narrow, so we widened them up to 4 meters and 50. You will see a graphic on the next slide showing the situation. Maybe we can switch to this one. You see with a width of the aisle of 6 meters, it is possible for 3 persons to walk in a distance in one line of 1.50 meters, which is the minimum requirement for our distance rule here in Lower Saxony. That means 3 lanes in 6 meters. And if you have an aisle with a width of 4 meters and 50, it means that 2 persons can still walk in 2 directions, so it's not necessarily a one-way direction aisle. This is a rented floor grid as we use it as an organizer to plan the hall. Already hall 13 in this case, already widened up to the new widths of aisles, and showing as well the thoughts we are taking into account about extra spaces for the restaurants or the entrances where more persons will enter at the same time, giving them space to get into the hall before starting off into the fairgrounds and into the neighboring halls. Yeah, and actually, following up this, we would like to go into the catalogue of measures, where my colleague, Mr. Gründer, will explain. Thank you very much.
Yes, a warm welcome and hello to everybody out there. I am Christian Gründer, member of the Technical Event Management Department, and I'm going to tell you a little bit of the details of the catalogue of measures for protection against infection that we made for you. The catalogue is divided into 3 parts. The first part is about design, construction, and organization of exhibition stands, so roughly for planning your stand. The second part is about catering, and that means hospitality, eating and drinking on the stand areas, and of course including catering deliveries on your stand by external partners. Part number 3 of the catalogue of measures is about the construction and dismantling period of exhibition stands and the site logistics. The experts from the catalogue that I'm going to show you start, of course, with the rule number 1. The most important rule is keep distance to everyone in each part of your stand. That means 1.5 meters is the minimum distance between people that you should take into account when planning your stand. The stand must be designed in such a way that a distance of 1.5 meters between people is guaranteed at all the times. The result when you keep this rule is, when planning the stand, is that you see what maximum capacity of people can be on your stand. In case it's not possible in some areas or in some situations that you keep the distance of 1.5 meters, there are constructive solutions like spit protections. That means when you come closer to an information counter to speak to someone who should inform you on a stand, or when entering a stand, there is a spit protection. What is that? That spit protection is just a little bit slangy word, meaning hygiene protection against coughs, sneezes, or conversation with wet pronunciation in the form of walls, partitions, for instance, made of plexiglass. There are also other organizational solutions that you can use. That means when many people walk in one area, you should avoid that they come closer to each other, nose to nose, face to face, by having a one-way regulation in your stand. We will see later on some examples on different layouts. And of course, we can use, and we should use, the pictograms to give the visitors the information what they have to take care of for. Avoid constructions that are covered I mean roof-like constructions that cover your stand and ensure in that way for the sufficient ventilation. Remember, before Mr. Christian Pfeiffer mentioned that the halls have a good ventilation, state of the art to protect us, and you should avoid that you switch off this kind of ventilation by covering up your stand. The next thing that you should take into consideration, entrances and exits to the stand area must be defined and checked during operation to avoid exceeding the maximum person capacity. Remember, there was the maximum capacity mentioned one page before. That means you should take care that your stand is not getting that full that people cannot keep the distance of 1.5 meters. And of course, you have to instruct your staff on the stand, and of course also the staff of potential service providers that come to your stand, like caterers and others. And they should know about your rules, your internal hygiene system, about your hygiene protection measures that you install into your stand to make sure that everybody is or will be safe. Visitor data collection was also mentioned before. For contact tracking is necessary when people stay longer than 50 minutes on the stand, and is immediately necessary when people enter the restaurant or catering areas of the stand. Further hygiene protection measures that should be mentioned are disinfectant dispensers for staff and visitors must be there. Mouth and nose covers, the so-called face masks, must be provided in sufficient numbers in case they are needed. Frequent cleaning of contact surfaces when visitors leave the catering area or leave their table or chair where they have been before. You don't have to take away the cups only, but also you have to clean the surfaces that have been touched. Stand parties are currently not allowed. The catalogue of measures for protection against infection is updated regularly and of course adapted to the current legal requirements continuously. Then of course we are collecting all your questions in a FAQ list, and they will be also made available for you online. And in case of you have questions to what of you have heard now, you can directly put your questions in the chat. That is everything necessary what you have to know about the catalogue of measures for protection against infection. Thank you for listening. And now we will see some example layouts shown by my colleague Martin Girgin.
A warm welcome also from my side. My name is Girgin. I'm also a member of the technical event management. I'd like to give you here some examples regarding the stand layouts with different spaces. A 50 square meter with two side open stand, a 70 square meter 3 side open stand, and an 80 square meter 4 side open stand. Please recognize that they are all examples. I mean, you are free in your concepts, and still the technical regulations apply. It means that we don't have a new COVID regulation approval. Still the stands larger than 100 square meters have to be submitted for examination. In case, I mean, if you like to be sure, of course, you are allowed to submit your stands also smaller than 100 square meters. On the next page, I'm going to give an example starting with a 50 square meter stand, a two-side open. As we all know, the magic number is 1 meter. In every corner within the area, this measure has to be considered and also recognized as you see the layout. And second important thing, as I already mentioned, a separate entrance and a separate exit that you can keep an eye of the number of the people within your area. If you have a look at the bottom of the layout, the sketch, you see people queuing in front of the information counter. They have a distance of 1.5 meter, minimum 1.5 meter. And when you enter the area, we recommend you, to make life easier, to make the planning easy for you, to bring the footprints and the lines marked on the whole floor, that the visitors can follow those lines and to avoid any collision and to avoid coming closer to each other. On the left-hand side, on the top of the sketch, you see two people viewing an exhibit or exhibits. They have a distance of 1.5 meter. It has to be shown with, as I've told you before, with the footprints. Then it's easier to control everybody. They control themselves also. On the right-hand side, you see a meeting area or two participants on a table. Unfortunately, they can't keep the distance. Because of that, they have a speed protection as an acrylic glass. On the left-hand side, on the top, there is a store. If someone has to enter the store, it's recommended that he or she has to wear a mask. And as you see on the right-hand side, the exit, and if you follow the lines, the arrows, then you can easily reach the exit. On the next page, I'm going to show you an example of a 70 square meter stand with a three-side open. It's the same concept, starting with the waiting area, registering in the information counter, entering the area. As you see, an exhibit in the middle of the area, people around it keeping a distance of 1.5 meter. A difference to the first one is on the left-hand side, there is a presentation room. And as we see, 5 chairs, 5 participants, and the one who is presenting, they all have a distance of 1.5 meter. Also on the top left, the same as the store, which has to be entered with a mask, the face, mouth, nose covering. On the top, there is a lounge, also 2 tables with participants, and unfortunately they can't also keep the distance 1.5 meter, and they have both tables, they have a speed protection, and between the tables, a minimum of 2 meters has to be taken into consideration. You follow also the lines, the arrows, and you enter easily the exit, and you turn the next page to another example of 8 square meters. It's 4-side open stand. The difference here is we have 1 entrance, and due to the space of the area, you can also plan 2 exits, which you can follow the lines and you can easily reach them. You see also an exhibit, people viewing them, visitors viewing them. Also a table, a meeting area with people, speed protection between them, a lounge area on the right-hand side, also keeping the distance of 1.5 meter or 2 meters between the tables. On the top right, you see also a meeting room with 4 people. They also all keep a distance of 1.5 meter. And after finishing your visit and the stand, you can follow the lines, and from one of both exits, you can go out. You can turn back to the next page This is a sample, an example of four-side open stand in three-dimensional perspective way. As you can easily recognize the entrance, registration, the exhibit, the meeting area, and also the access of both of them. Shortly to explain you about those planning for the layouts, I mean, feel free for any other concepts. Send us if you are not sure if it's okay or not. They are welcome for the approval for the examination. Thank you for your attention. In case of any questions, please feel free also to contact via the following email address. Have a nice day and stay healthy. Thank you. I'm going to hand it over also to my colleague, Christian Pfeiffer again. Please.
And here I'm back again. So this was a speed round of all the information we had for you so far. Everything is compiled, of course, in our shop. All the requirements, all the measurements you need to take are put into FAQs, put into technical requirements, and please go online and see what this means for your planning of the booth. And just let us know if we can help. We'll do our best to guide you on the way to have a safe and secure participation at LIGNA in May. And as I promised, I'm going to give you a little more details about the catering, networking, and stand parties. You can find all necessary information about how to create your catering area on the DEHOGA Lower Saxony website, because this is the institution that put together the hygienic and security concept for restaurants, for hotels, and so on. And those are applicable also for trade show catering areas. We will have a link on our website to these requirements as well, so that you can put in line what you are planning for your catering area on your stands. Stand parties are prohibited. So far, this is something we need to inform you about as soon as possible, because the same rules my colleagues from the technical department just mentioned are applicable, of course, after 6 o'clock at night. So we cannot allow so far any stand parties. But we hope to give you more information in detail during the next webinar in October, especially about this issue. So now we're already in our questions and answer session. What I would like to start with is a question that occurred yesterday in the sessions we had already with different exhibitors. And there was the question about a general obligation to wear masks during the whole show for visitors and for exhibitors. And so far, the regulations in Lower Saxony do not regulate or define that people need to wear masks as an obligation during the whole show. So this is something we did not mention yet or put out as a rule that every attendee needs to wear a mouth and face mask. So this is something that might change. This is a thing that might change. We're discussing this internally so far. And as soon as there is any change, we will inform you over the mentioned channels, of course. Then there was a second question that was addressed before the webinar to us, and it is about a hybrid format during LIGNA. I already mentioned it, that we are planning so far a hybrid format parallel to LIGNA, so that we will have content that will be spread out during the show into the world for people who might not be able to travel or do not want to go here for LIGNA. So this is something we are planning, and we will go into detail in the October webinar for you as well. I think those were the major questions we had also yesterday. And please let us know if we can give you more information in detail. My colleagues from LIGNA-Team will help you gladly to make your presentation safe and sound and help you with all the details. And of course, our technical department offered to you for every stand when you are in any insecure place for the planning of your stand, just let them know and ask them if it's the right way to plan it this way or that way. So they are glad to help, because this is something we need to work on together as soon as possible and as close as possible. So let us know if you have any questions. You can reach us through the various channels you have. If you want to go into very details when it comes to the general concept, you can go online to the OMA, which is the Association of All Trade Shows in Germany, that they put out a general position to what we are doing here, because this is what we just told you are the requirements that are in place for every German trade show organizer. So this is nothing we are doing as a free time job here in Hanover, not at all. This is something that works Germany-wide to give you the best situation to get your leads in woodworking for 2021. So I hope we could give you the information you needed, and just let us know if we can help. We are looking forward to you in May next year latest, but you will get more information about the second webinar that we are planning in October. So thank you very much. Have a great day and a good preparation for LIGNA 21. I hope to see you very soon. Thank you very much.